¿Qué pasó, mi gente? It's Mark Tip 25 otra vez. Some time ago, I made an Eastern Conference predictions video. And, it came out pretty well. I mean, granted, I only had 6 likes from it. But, I really worked hard on it. And it was, it really took a lot of time. But since then, I haven't been able to put out any sort of videos for either this channel or my Mark the Tenor channel. And, que lástima, right? And it sucked because I was working on a project and out of nowhere my computer crapped out. So it's been a while trying to get like my computer sought like by somebody to at least either fix it or just transfer the data onto an external hard drive. So yeah, that's why I haven't really been able to make any other videos, and also I've been working 2 jobs, about to be 3 jobs. Que padre. But like overall, like yeah, I tried to continue doing the Western Conference one, and it's just at this point it's pretty much too late. The playoffs have already started and I really can't get anything out now from that. So what I'm gonna do is just do kind of a condensed version of my Western Conference predictions, just so I have it out there and you can tell me what you think about my thoughts in the comment section, whatever you want. Just so I at least have something out there. And next year, hopefully this issue doesn't happen again and I can provide you better content. But also, I'm going to leave a link in the description for my previous, Eastern Conference predictions video, because it was really good. And I really think you all should give it a watch. Like, I really worked hard on that. But anyhow, so we have currently, the Lakers versus the Trailblazers, the Clippers versus the Mavs, the Nuggets versus the Jazz, and the Thunder versus the Rockets. What I originally had was the Lakers versus the Grizzlies, the Clippers versus the Mavericks, the Nuggets versus the Rockets, and the Thunder versus the Jazz. So I guess within the bubble things changed a little bit, at least for the Western side. The Eastern side, I think I was pretty spot on, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had it the exact same way. If not, then whatever. It was close. It was closer. But yeah. I had the Lakers versus the Grizzlies at first, and I had the Lakers sweeping the Grizzlies. But now that the Portland Trailblazers are the ones that are in the playoffs, things are a little different. And, in all honesty, I think the Grizzlies kind of got gypped in all of this. So I'm just going to kind of, I'm just going to say that they kind of got gypped in this, and I might do a video on that, like why I thought doing all of that was kind of a waste of time. And especially like for the Phoenix Suns winning 8 games in a row and then they didn't even make it. Like, what was really the point? And yeah, I'll talk more about that in that video. But yeah, so we had the Grizzlies being swept, but right now the Portland Trailblazers are giving the Lakers a run for their money. Will they upset them? There is maybe a possibility, but I don't see it happening. I don't see the Lakers playing like this the entire series. I think the Lakers pull it off at maximum 6 games. But I don't think it's going to go that far. Personally, I don't think it's going to go that far. Dame is great, but I just don't think it's enough to beat this Lakers team when they're fully focused in. So then we had the Clippers versus the Mavs, and I figured that was going to stay the same. Like, I didn't see the Clippers moving up any higher because of, Kawhi sitting out here and there. And then the Mavericks, they were just really struggling. Like, rotations were not good. Defense was not good. They were, and as it says, like, they're the number 1 ranked offense in the league historically now, but they're really horrible in clutch moments. They're like almost last, or probably even last in the league when it comes to clutch moment offense. So yeah, I had the Clippers beating the Mavericks in 5 at best. And right now it's pretty much looking like that. Like, I think the Mavericks, they got a good game. A lot of people thought that they were supposed to go up 2-0 because of that horrible call in the previous game. And they might as well, they probably could have, but I'm not really going to say that they would have. I mean, it could have gone either way in that first game. But I don't think the Clippers are going to struggle that much in the next few games. I think the I think the Clippers close it out in 5 still. Um, it's going to be a close series though. I will say that much. You know, KP and Luka have been really killing it, and I mean, again, although Paul George struggled this past game, I don't see that reoccurring. And Kawhi Leonard's going to be Kawhi Leonard, so I have no doubt he's gonna do well. So then we have the Nuggets versus the Jazz. I originally had it as Nuggets versus the Rockets. And you know, the Rockets, I felt they had a little bit of an upper hand going with that small ball, but part of me was like, well, I mean, Nikola Jokic isn't a scrub either, so it was going to be a close game, but I think the Rockets would have ultimately upset them, and it would have gone to like a 7-game series. But it's different now. We have the Jazz versus the Nuggets. Right now the series is tied, but I think the Nuggets still have the upper hand. Donovan Mitchell has been killing it. He's been playing amazing, but without having Bojan Bogdanovic and Rudy Gobert struggling offensively, I mean, he's going to do well defensively no matter what, but he's becoming more outmoded as, you know, as a center in this league. It's if you can't really shoot, you're going to struggle a little bit more. So, I mean, Rudy is doing well, but he can only do as well as he can. Like going up against Nikola Jokic, being a more versatile center is really hard. It's going to be fucking hard for him to really, you know, continue to guard him every night. So I see the Nuggets winning this series in 5 as well. As far as the Thunder and the Rockets, you know, I think this is going to be an interesting one. I originally had the Jazz versus the Jazz versus the Thunder. So, I mean, the Thunder is still in that 4th and 5th seed. But, yeah, I had the Jazz losing to the Thunder in 6. But, yeah, right now it's the Thunder and the Rockets. So I think the Rockets win in 5 at least. I think Chris Paul at least gets one game. And, like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Steven Adams are all really good, but I don't know. James Harden he's on another level right now. And I know, I don't think Westbrook played the last game. So that says a lot. Like, if Westbrook comes back, I think, hell, they might even sweep if it ends up being the way it is. But I still feel that the Thunder at least get one off of it. So it's the Rockets in 5. So, and then the next round, we have the Lakers, and who did I have winning? It was the Lakers versus the Nuggets. And then we had the Clippers versus the Rockets. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's how it would go. And then the Lakers, like, if they get past Portland, I have no doubt they can beat the Denver Nuggets. I mean, you still have like 2 of the best players in the world, with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And I know this first game kind of puts Anthony Davis in a bad light, and people are like, he's not top 5, he's more like top 10 or like at 9, and I don't know. If Anthony Davis can just muster up some courage and, you know, just be more aggressive, I have no doubt that it's going to cause the Nuggets to have some problems. And again, Jamal Murray, he has really great games and then he's just off. So take it as you will. Overall, I think the Nuggets, they push it to 6 games, but I think ultimately the Lakers still beat the Nuggets. And then as far as the Clippers versus the Rockets, I think the Rockets push them to 6 as well. I guess you're gonna see Russell Westbrook kind of have a little bit of a fire in his belly after Paul George just kind of straight up abandoned him in OKC. So it's gonna be a decent series, but I still think, and again, I know the Clippers are struggling right now, but I think ultimately they get it together. And I think Kawhi Leonard is still going to pose a threat defensively, and Paul George, he's going to do well. I mean, Harden is James Harden, man. He's gonna get his buckets, but I feel like in the crucial moments, like we have seen Russell Westbrook and James Harden kind of falter a bit. Who knows? I mean, that could be a potential upset, but I don't see it happening. I think the Clippers still pull it off. And then, of course, in the Western Conference Finals, it's the one that everybody's been predicting, the Clippers versus the Lakers. And again, maybe the Lakers have gotten a little bit better throughout, but overall, the Clippers have been kind of dominating them throughout the season. And again, yes, I know what you're all going to say. The playoffs are different. The playoffs are different. And yeah, that may be true. But I think Kawhi Leonard, like, people really like to discredit Kawhi Leonard and his defense, even though, like, he's been proven to have, done extremely well against really high-profile players. And then Paul George, again, it's really going to depend on Paul George and Lou Williams. Everyone likes to bring up Patrick Beverley, and as decent of a player as Patrick Beverley is, I don't consider him a true X factor. I think he can be a catalyst, but I don't think he's a true X factor that everyone thinks he is. I mean, yeah, he did well defensively against LeBron in the season, but I'm not going to hold my breath and say that he's going to do that every time. It ultimately comes down to Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, and Paul George. If those guys can remain consistent, I think they pull it off. And yeah, as powerful as Anthony Davis can be, I think Ivica Zubac has been playing well, and he can be a very vital piece if he just, stays in front of his man and doesn't get into foul trouble. And also Montrezl Harrell. I think Montrezl Harrell is a really good player once you get him in the pick and roll situation. And he's not a bad, post player. So I think it goes the distance. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't. I think it goes the distance, and the Clippers win. Barely. But they win. So, yeah, that's what my predictions are. I think the Clippers end up winning and going to the NBA Finals against the Bucks. I understand the Bucks lost to the Magic, and it wasn't it was kind of a decent margin, too. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Giannis isn't going to bounce back from something like that. If, that'd be the craziest upset ever, if that's the case. But I don't see it happening. That happened last year with the Raptors. They lost one game, everyone was like, oh, upset, and then they just get trounced the next 4 games. So, yeah, I don't see the Bucks losing that early in this playoffs. I think they go the distance too. They go against the Clippers, but I think, again, with Kawhi Leonard being there, that's kind of been the kryptonite for Giannis. Kawhi Leonard is going to really, body you up and defend well. And then with Paul George, I know he hasn't been as great defensively. I think he comes back a little stronger, and he kind of gets more grounded. So I think the Clippers win in 6 in that one. So those are my predictions for the Western Conference and the whole NBA Finals. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get a better, more, edited and well thought out video. I really wanted to. But again, with all that has been going on in my life, it's been really hard. And I really hope that you take this for as it is. And just tell me what you think. It would really be awesome if you could really watch this, ponte un like, suscríbete a mi canal, subscribe to me. I'm not expecting to be a big YouTuber. That's not everybody. But I really think this is a fun ordeal. And it would be nice to get some views and some likes. But yeah, that's really all I had to say about all this. And I'm glad I was able to at least do a couple videos to get out there until I get everything completely set up. It's pretty much there. I just need to download Filmora again on this new computer and try and get my other files transferred from my laptop that's crapped out. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. I can't wait to do more for you all when I do have a chance. Again, it's going to be a little hard again because I'm going to be working 3 jobs. I took at least a day off today because I really need the rest. As you can see, I look very haggard and I almost feel like I'm losing my hair a bit. But it is what it is. Anyway, hasta la próxima, mi gente. Adiós.